Hello everyone and welcome back to the final part of the anime character tutorial. In the previous one we made the hair, which was probably the most painful one. This one we're going to be quickly UV unwrapping and taking it to Substance Painter to texture, and it should overall be really simple. I'll be using two texture sets. One will be the main, call it Sasuke main. And then I'll be using a secondary for the ropes. So we'll go ahead and call it Sasuke secondary. Alright, and then I think the previous tutorial we did kind of nerf the amount of height we had on these folds. I think that's fine though. I'm gonna go ahead and apply the subdue modifier. I'm gonna have to go ahead and remove some of these dissolve edges. Can remove the one that's inside here as well, dissolve edges. And we can maybe dissolve this one too. Yeah. Maybe this one. Yep, that can be removed as well. I would probably... Nope, don't need that one either. Okay, yep, that's fine. Go ahead on the sleeves. It is mirrored that way. I'm gonna go ahead and select that and that. More like seam. The rest should open up perfectly fine. We're gonna go ahead and UV edit. Select all, unwrap. Let me actually turn on my screencast keys. Where is it at? Turn that on. So that's mirrored, right? Okay. For the shirt, it is mirrored as well. We're gonna go ahead and UV this out. Mark seam to the bottom. Mark seam. And the rest should open up pretty fine. I'll do it here. Like seam, unwrap. Don't think we have any overlapping. That's fine. And then I'm gonna press tab or whatever, not tab, the slash button, just to be able to zoom in on this. Fix any issues if there is any. We're gonna select the rope pieces and select the one that has secondary texture on last, and then press copy material to select it. I should give everything that texture. I'm gonna add this to it too. Copy material selected. Same thing to this, the pants, the shirt, and then press the sleeves last, or whatever that had this texture on it. Go ahead and isolate this. I'm just gonna turn off the mirror for now. I could just add one right over here. Like, see, I'm gonna have to actually, wait, why? Okay, the way we modeled the socks was actually not the greatest way to make the socks. Isolate the top part, or yep, that. Select overlap. Okay, what is this? Where is that exactly? inside the socks. Okay, I'm just gonna manually grab these faces. And just to move it over. Holy, oh my god. I think these tutorials are becoming too long, and I don't like that. Select overlap once again. Fix this side. That's fine. Okay, let's not do that again. So that's unwrapped, right? Yep. Select overlap. Let's make sure we have no issues. Select. Okay, go ahead and select these three. And you could use pack islands here if you're too lazy to pack your own. But we just want to make sure that the right pieces are at the scale we need them to be. So this is the main shirt. We need this to be the largest. That sleeve is fine. What is this? That's the arm. We do not need the arm to be this big. Neither do we need this to be. So we're gonna scale that down a bit, just to make room for the other stuff. Go ahead and pack again. Your layout's not gonna be the same as mine. Go ahead and pack however you would like to have it packed. Just again, make sure the right pieces are scaled up to the size we want them to be. Like this, I could have a little bit larger. So the pieces that need more texture detail, you would have them larger on your UV. The parts that don't need much texture will be smaller. This, for example, is fine. I just don't think this needs much space. I'm gonna scale this a bit smaller and scale this shirt a bit larger. You guys won't have this, by the way. This pack master is a custom plugin. You would have to go ahead and use this pack button, or go ahead and pack it yourself. So that's done. When it comes to the ropes, I am going to leave these two to actually be... We actually make these the same. Hold up. Alright, so since the top and bottom rope, these two are pretty much the exact same thing, I am going to go ahead and delete the bottom one, and once we texture it, we'll just come back and duplicate the top one and bring it down. For this stuff though, we can go ahead and actually don't apply just yet. We have this one segment. I just want to go ahead and just wrap. All we have to do for unwrap is just cut one edge like that, mark seam there. Same thing for all of this. Just select the inside face and mark seam. These ones we are gonna have to apply the curve because these do need different type of textures. This one I'm gonna leave as mark seam. I'm gonna leave the curve on that. This also has to be different. I already mark seam that one. What about this one? Actually, I'm starting to think that this one could also share same texture as this. So what I'm going to do is just delete this one temporarily. Go ahead and apply the array and apply the curve. Go to edit mode, all merge by distance, and that should merge all these corners we had there. I'm gonna select the last piece. I'm just gonna scale it up a bit. There are some like cuts at the bottom of this. You guys could do that via mesh, or you could use opacity map method, which we went over in one of the previous tutorials. But once we have that done, oh wait, this one's left. Mark seam. Mark seam. Okay, go ahead and apply the array on this and the curve on this. And I'm actually going to... This also can share the exact same texture. So I'll go ahead and delete this for now. We can come back and replace those. Because all we need really is all merge by distance. Then the entire inside face like that should be cut. We will need to cut it in half though, just so that it doesn't take much space. Go ahead and apply these as well. All merge by distance. This one I'm gonna give it its own separate texture though, just because it won't look the same. Go ahead and cut it like over here, right seam. Same thing, put it somewhat in the center, right seam. And this one I think I said we could keep. Alright, this is also seams, should share the same texture as this. Gonna go ahead and select all the meshes. UV editing, select all, U unwrap, select overlap, nothing's overlapping. Some of these do look a little bit small. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select this, this, and this, and scale it down just a bit, press S to scale, and hit all, go ahead and pack. What I can do is just select these and scale those up. And that should fit everything together for us. You guys are again free to pack it however you want. But I think that's how I'm gonna leave it as. Alright, now before we take this to Substance Paint, I'm gonna grab this, move it out a bit, grab the shoes or the leg, actually entire leg, and bring that down. I feel like we should have actually kept the extra 2 strands, especially this one and this one, just so we could remember the positioning we had on those. But I guess I could just come back to the video and see where I had them. I select everything except the curve. Something, oh wait, the zipper, oh my god, we do not want to forget that. Copy materials select. It's gonna have one simple texture. Just go ahead and press unwrap. It's just gonna be a simple shape. But we are gonna have to put it into the UV with this. Oh wait, that's in here too. And it doesn't really have to be that big. You can go ahead and fit it right here, or wherever you have space. Your UV will not be the same as mine, so you guys should have decent UV knowledge to be able to do this on your own. What I did want to do was put a plane inside right here, so like you could cover for the torso since we added mesh for the arm. But honestly, we just could completely forget about that and just do that with the Roblox mesh. The Roblox R6 torso can cover that. Select everything but that curve we have in there, because I don't know what's going to happen once we export the curve. Never tried that before. But export FBX and let's go to Substance Painter. Alright, this thing doesn't have a texture, so make sure you guys have everything assigned to its texture. It should be only maximum 2 texture sets. So all the rope pieces attached to one, this will be 1 texture set, and the pants and the shirt plus the zipper will be the next one. Alrighty, once we have it in here, make sure you guys check you only have 2 texture sets and everything is lined up properly. I'm gonna go ahead and all I'm gonna really be baking is the position, so we can go ahead and throw a gradient on. Everything else we're going to be faking on ourselves, so no need for any of that. I'm just gonna keep position on both of them. Go ahead and bake. Okay, it's fine. Shouldn't really take us that long, and then we can go ahead and create our masks. Should be really straightforward. Gonna create a mask for this shirt, throw in a fill layer. Just gonna color pick onto the reference picture, and all the references and all that will be pinned or posted in the same channel as this video will be in. Oh wait, no, never mind, not that. All I'm gonna do is just quickly throw on another fill on top and just tearing off everything except for the rough, crank up the roughness. Going to put this zipper inside this mask as well, and then duplicate, call it pants, color pick pants. Go ahead and duplicate one more time, call this sock. So I'm probably just gonna put the socks and shoes and everything together. Then we'll create smaller masks inside that. Okay, the mirror on this did not export because I had turned it off here. But I don't have to worry about that. Everything will be fine, I hope. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead into the shirt. We're gonna duplicate and just gonna color pick the shadow color. And let me actually make the screen a little smaller. Why it's so big? Black mask. Go ahead and add a paint. Go to brushes, basic hard, and we can start texturing away. I'm just gonna turn on my smooth mouse, lazy mouse, because we are lazy people. Go ahead and just select these faces first so we get the basic outline of where we want the brush to be going. That, and I'm just gonna drag down here as well. Holding shift to draw straight lines. You press somewhere and you drag your mouse while holding shift, and that lets you draw straight lines. Also, to switch, you press X. White means coloring, X means you're erasing. Or you could go ahead and use the erase tool yourself by pressing 2, I think is the keybind. There is also another fold right here. I'm gonna go ahead and color over it just so that it looks smoother and smoothen the overall curve. And then use the erase tool to sharpen the corners. If you're using a whatchamacallit, a pen, then you don't really have to worry about manually fixing the corners. I'm going to create just a bit of shadow piece right here. Erase tool to sharpen it. Okay, coming to the back, I'm also going to add like a shadow right over here. Maybe make that a bit larger. Okay. And then there is a line that goes like the zipper line. And color pick that. Black matte, there's two things you could do here. If you want to do the anime style, all you really have to do is just make a line go straight top to bottom. But if you want to be a little bit cool, you can use the zipper. Press and press, and that gives you these zipper lines. All that's gonna work so great just because we have a mirror going across. You will have a lot of, I mean, that's still good enough, but we'll just stick to the anime. And go ahead and draw our own. Wait, what the hell? Give me this. Bro? Okay, you just have to delete it from over here from the grayscale at the bottom of the brush properties. Drag that like this. Gonna make this a little bit lower. I'm not exactly sure what color the zipper is supposed to be. Okay, never mind, that's a lie. It's the same color as this. Go ahead and just build tool that. Now this itself does have a line going from top to bottom. Oh, put that above the shadow. Or actually put this down. We're just gonna make the shadow a bit transparent. We go to base color, we can get a better look at that. What I'm gonna do to the main right here is duplicate, make a slightly darker color, black mask, generator, 3D linear, flip it, Now we have a darker gradient color at the bottom. You just want something really light and gentle, something like this. Don't want to overdo it. And there we go. It just adds a lot more definition to the actual clothing. And then the main part is also the line art. I'm going to create a black layer, and all we're going to do with this is just go ahead and trace the shape with a super small brush size, or maybe not super small. The spot I missed here, cover that. You don't want to make it too small, like 0.1 usually suffices. You just want to be able to see it from far, just so that the shapes themselves stick out and it doesn't look like one mesh just smacked to each other. It's especially inside base color mode, flat base color. I want to make sure you have your shapes really defined and different from each other. You don't want it all blending in. Alright, there. Now there is a specific fold style where you could go ahead and draw lines for the folds. I don't think I'm going to be doing that. I usually don't, just because it takes a lot of time. You guys are more than free to do that if you have your own fold style or your own preference for how you want to do your folds. I'm going to go ahead and just draw a rough outline on this. Same thing on the interior face. Whoop. You could make your brush smaller than 0.1 by just typing it in. I'm just making it really thick so we can see something from where. If you look at it from far, you can barely see it. That's perfectly fine. There is actually a line. Let's add a little bit of detail. 0.04 is what I'm going to do. Just going to create a line that kind of goes like this, this, this. Just a little piece of detail. I'm gonna create oh wait, we need to outline this as well. You want to differentiate or create a separation line between the neck accessory and the main mesh. Just by a little bit, nothing too crazy. I can go ahead and add a fold to the back of this shirt, similar to what we have at the front. Make it a little bit bigger. Something along these lines. Go back into base color. This is basically flat shade mode. We can see some stuff is looking pretty nice. I do want the line here to actually kind of be brighter. Where's the color at? Wrong color. Just color, okay, there we go. Color picking on the reference. Just like that. And what you could do honestly is go back to shadows and kind of add a little bit to the side over here. Kind of want a line that shadows off of this accessory piece right here. The robe. What, I don't even know what this thing is called, bro. I don't even know what it is. Anime drip be a little bit questionable sometimes. Don't know what it is, but it's pretty cool. That's honestly, I think, the only goal they have when they're making these concepts. Let's throw on some random stuff on a character. it looks cool, it's fine. Doesn't need to make sense. I'm gonna go ahead and fill inside bottom here. Doesn't need to be perfect, as long as you can like get some depth going. Just increase brush size so that I can cover more space. And something like this is fine. No one's really going to be zooming in here trying to see like what the hell is going on inside his pants. That's kind of weird. Go back to base color, and yep, that looks mighty fine. I'm gonna go ahead and sharpen that. I'm gonna go ahead and line this up actually. Going to use the erase tool to sharpen that. We might actually go ahead and add the lines to the fold just to make it a little bit more interesting. I'm gonna grab here, shift, hold, and try to give it like that nice round surface. Goes all the way up to here. I should round this by just drawing it myself. My drawing accuracy is very questionable, but gets the job done. For this one, I'm just gonna draw straight in the middle. Just like that. And over here, it's already kind of sharpened itself. Go ahead and sharpen that a bit. Alright. We can go ahead and move on to the sleeve. I'm also going to be using black to sort of outline the bottom of the sleeve right here. Just like that. We did cut this in half, so I was gonna finish that off for us. There are actually quite a few like times or places where you can actually create or cut the arm in half like this, so you can mirror the two sides, but usually you can't. You usually don't. This triangle face right here. And we can go ahead and also add maybe like something more round over here in the corner. I'm just thinking something like this maybe. Fill that in, use the eraser tool to sharpen that. Same thing here. That looks nice. Gradient should be taking effect on that as well. Yep, it is just a little bit. That looks nice. Let's see. I feel like the color in this is actually a bit too light. I don't know if color picker is selling, but that does not look so perfect. Let me try using another reference. Maybe it gives us a darker color. Oh, never mind. This reference is kind of low quality. Now, majority of the references have it as this. Oh, that's more blue. I don't like that. It's more saturated. We'll go. Obviously, it looks like a girl now. We'll go ahead and stick with that, honestly. For those of you who know how to add highlights, you're more than free to go ahead and add like highlights and stuff on the shoulders. That will look pretty nice. It'll be a nice little addition. But with that done, did I not add a mask? Add a mask for the arm. And you can honestly just leave the line, delete the rest of the stuff. Black mask on this. The arm, select that. And I'm just gonna color pick on a skin color. Then he also does have the arm pad, to go ahead and duplicate the layer. black mask, and I do not remember unwrapping this. Did I unwrap the arm? Not getting any issues. Might have actually forgotten to. I do not remember unwrapping the arm. Where is that? Oh, we somehow managed to actually unwrap it. I don't know how I did that. Okay, go ahead, duplicate. This will be the band shadow. This is the band. This is the skin shadow. Black mask to that. Black mask to that. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the line out once again. It's just going to be a simple line. It goes all the way across the shape of the armband, the wristband, whatever you want to call it. It's basically on the Roblox forearm. So it's the forearm band. Nope, not like that. Doesn't really have to be clean on the bottom of the edge. As long as you can see something's going on there, you're good to go. Go ahead and grab the shadow, and we're gonna shadow the entire almost bottom half. Just like that. We're also going to go ahead and shadow the corners like this. I'm gonna delete that little mistake. Same thing over here, you shadow. Something like this. Yeah, just seen one thing that we need to fix is right over here. You want to make sure you don't have a circle end, because then it shows once you apply the mirror. Go ahead and bring the opacity down a bit, get that nice color. And then I'm going to go ahead and actually add a highlight. Call it a light. I'm just color picking on the reference. There's nothing crazy I'm doing. Go ahead and just draw a line. It goes across like this. And that's pretty much kind of good. What we could do to the shadow actually is start bringing some strands in. Same thing on this side, it's like a smaller piece maybe. And I actually want to have it facing or curving downwards, not curving upwards. Just like that. Erase any mistakes if you've got any. Not really liking the color on this, so I'm probably just going to bring the opacity even lower. Or maybe darker, actually was fine. Okay, that would be the wristband, and then we'll come down to... We'll get to the pants actually, I believe. I'm just making sure we're not missing anything else. You guys are more than free to play around with the folds. Actually, what I'm going to do to the shirt... Where's the shadow at? Is the shadow right? Yeah. I'm going to maybe add... You generally have a lot of folds around the arm connection point, which would be the armpit right here. I'm just going to create one line going up. That's going a little too high. Base color, okay. In the back, we'll just have that mirrored. This is looking fine. What I was gonna do here was actually add another. Not exactly sure if it's gonna look too full. If I go ahead and add another fold in here. What I might actually end up doing is out of here, I'm going to drag out, wait, what the hell is this? Okay, I don't really remember when I added that paint layer. I don't know where that came from. And I'm going to create a nice little thin line over here. Just like that. I can go ahead and erase. And this line, I actually do want like a stronger connection point. It starts thicker and then it goes down. Something thinner like that. Go ahead and take the line, and we're going to go ahead and trace this outline as well. We need to fill that part in with shadow. I'm gonna connect it there. I really don't care about the insides, and no one looks at that. Fill in this part. Come back to the line. I'm going to sharpen the end. Okay, we could go on and move down to the pants. We had the pants here, same thing, duplicate, color pick for the shadow color. That might be a little too dark. Something like that. Go into material mode, and we're gonna use the same method of just filling in the faces. Most of the time this like legit gets you the job done, but sometimes you have to go in and manually. The top part of this pants I'm not even going to bother with. Actually, maybe you do have to bother with because it's going to be clipping. Oh boy. Okay, and then what you usually have generally with pants is that you have like a line coming down, and then you usually have these folds kind of extruding or expanding out of it. Only reason I'm detailing this is because I'm not going to be rigging the rope, because it's a tower defense game. This game, or what this unit is going to be used for. That's probably most likely what you're doing this for as well. I don't remember the last time I got a commission for a full character that wasn't for a tower defense game. It's legit so sad, bro. So much time and effort being wasted. Gonna round that a bit, and I'm gonna create or make or draw like a really long strand just like that. It would basically be doing the same thing for the inside faces. I'm just gonna add one long one. I'm actually gonna minimize this just because I realize we're gonna have to be really shadowing this, but since Substance doesn't let you drag stuff down, we're not really fully capable of doing that. Makes it pretty hard to actually accurately get a nice shadow drop shadow from the top piece onto the pants. That's something Substance really needs. You got to be able to move stuff around. So what I end up just doing is create like a sharp line here, just to have it end somewhere, just like that. Erase this as well. Go ahead and lower opacity, just or actually, why is it color like this? I go into base color. Bro, color pick is actually selling today. What the hell? I'll do it something like that. Something else I just did notice is that I'm gonna face fill this bottom part right here. And you do want some variation, so the bottom is gonna stay thin. We're gonna have like a slope type of thing. It kind of starts up here and it fades down, and then kind of curves back up after a certain area. And just gonna carry that onto the back here. Curve it down. Curve back up. you guys are finishing this pretty quick and want more of these, I believe I already have a stream doing a full Uzui. I believe I textured, even sculpted the anatomy and all that good stuff. Over here you guys could again go with highlights. In the reference I am seeing highlights, but I am not going to be doing that. Add a shadow to the socks. We're gonna have to go ahead and draw ourselves a drop shadow from the pants. Just like that. Ooh, the spacing is being problematic. Then we want to actually go ahead and duplicate, add a black mask. Going to mask out his skin color. Do face selection and just mask out whatever is supposed to be his foot. That. All this. Now there is one strap that goes up and around. We might draw that on. I'll see though. Let's do the shadow first. We'll have the shadow go on top, and then we will draw ourselves. Same thing we did with the armband. We're just gonna create like a little curve here. Bring it down here, curve it back up there. Okay, same thing for back here. It's a little bit messy. We're gonna come back and clean that up at a later time. Go ahead and fill the entire bottom face. Lower opacity and start erasing. Kind of smoothing this out, just like that, and like this. This is kind of fine. Kind of, not exactly fine, but somewhat fine. We do actually need to also go ahead and shadow the inside or the top part of the sandals. Actually also the inside face of the thing as well. The socks here kind of has a fold. Our UVs are just so peak that we can't really UV fill this because this entire part is one UV face. That's generally what you want to do with your UVs. I know I used to have this bad habit of just marking or just breaking every face, every side into one UV map. Not really the greatest of choices to make. So now I'm gonna click on the skin, and what we really need to do is kind of create or draw ourselves like a strap. It's actually pretty nice. We'll do it like that and just bring it down here. Wait, is this okay, no, we're fine. We're fine. We're just erasing from the skin. I was gonna duplicate the shoe layer and just draw with that instead, but not really. Don't work too well for us. There's a sandal thing you have. Just do that and call it a day. Now we need a black outline, and this is where shapes are really going to be distinct from each other. Go ahead and draw your outline. For the outline of this, is going to be down here. So where the skin starts is where I'm gonna maybe increase size to like 1.3. Doesn't need to be that big, not that thick. Just like that. We also do need to do the inside over there as well in a moment. So now you guys know the pain of creating full characters, and you know very well why I charge so much for these now. But there's people out there who do like 30 bucks for something like this. I don't know why they put themselves through that torture. But what, this tutorial was maybe like what, 2 hours for the hair, and an hour for the entire model, the clothing model part. Texture might be over an hour. I kind of lost track of what I was counting. What is that, like 3-4 hours of work for a single unit? Maybe if you're not making a tutorial and yapping all this much, what would take? It's still, the hair takes so long, bro. And even though the hair I made for this tutorial was like lazy half done. Otherwise, I would have spent another hour on that, just polishing up the shape and form, because I think it did like spread out too much. Okay, just like this. Did not mean to open that. Alright. Go ahead and finish outlining this. And we really haven't even done the things yet, the rope on the top. That's gonna be the fun part. Take the shadow. Which one's the shadow? This one's the shadow. I'm gonna draw thin layer. Go down like this. We also do need maybe some shapes and forms on the actual sandal part. I might completely skip that just because, like, who cares about sandals, right? I don't think we actually graded into the pants. That's what was missing. I don't think we're gonna do the socks, but to the pants, duplicate, give it like a darker color, black mask. And this is why we bake the position, because that lets you add the gradient. And you generally want to do darker at the bottom, lighter at the top. Even though pants would make sense to do it the other way for shadow purposes. But that's not how gradient logic works. To outline the sandals, when it comes to the bottom of the sandals, there's some like certain design, but I do not feel like drawing all that, so we will leave bottom of the sandal with, because really no one looks at the bottom of the character. All the focus is on the top. You see the hair, everyone's like, oh my god, hair. Then they look at the shirt and they're like, oh my god, how he do that? Like, no one's really gonna bother with what's going on down here. Focus, especially on the rope, that's gonna take a lot of the focus. I'm gonna go back on the shadow piece. I'm gonna go ahead and draw one of these strands going in like this. Just adds more volume and more detail to actually look at your mesh. The shape and length can differ. Depends what you like. I'm only adding the shadow on the inside faces. Generally would actually probably do the outside ones too, but I ain't doing all that. Okay. There's a bit of highlights you could also add to this, especially like on the outer edge. Maybe we could do a highlight. I'm just checking to see. Yeah, this needs to have a shadow on it. The bottom of the sock right here needs a shadow, so it looks like it's being tucked in. Delete anything like this. And we could add like a line for shadow like over here. The socks kind of like has a fold to it. Something super small and thin, just so we have some more detail on the outside. Okay, now with that out of the way, that's looking pretty complete. One thing I did miss is the arm shadow. What we're gonna do is just draw a line right where the sleeve falls. And actually we have quite a bit up there. I'm gonna use the eraser to kind of make it a little bit thinner. Okay, that's perfect. Go ahead and you can fill in the top a bit. It doesn't need to go too high because again, for a tower defense character, no one looking up this much. Especially with the characters being so small with no detail being visible. But if it's not for a tower defense character, you might as well go ahead and add more details, especially if it's a playable character that other players will be able to morph into. It's one of those games. And then do go ahead and fill in like everything and add as much as details as possible. Okay, did that bit. You guys want to like do line art for like muscles? I think that'll be too much. We're not doing that. With that out of the way, if you guys want to draw him toes, you guys could do that, but I think that'll be a little bit weird. Will it? Wait, where is his socks at? Add in a paint. Yeah, I think it's gonna look completely whack and people will point that out on your model. Yeah, let's not do that. Maybe drop shadow on the sock to go on the foot, just because it's looking a little bit under detailed. But for Roblox purposes, we're fine. Let's focus on the actual part, which is the second color right over here. We're gonna go ahead and drop a folder for the main, drop another folder for the rope, add in a color, black mask this onto that. Add in a color in the rope area. I think it's the same color, maybe just a little bit lighter. Black mask, select all the rope pieces. Alright, now for the rope, we're gonna go ahead and start right away with the lines, and we do want to make these lines kind of thick. We're gonna have to go into material mode so we can see exactly what the creases are. 0.2 on the brush size, maybe. I want to make it too thick, and this is exactly why I wanted it to be mirrored like this, or arrayed. And now we can color one piece and it colors the two piece, or all the pieces. Yep, that's perfect thickness. That's nice. I just want to make sure I get everything. Some parts give you more angles, some don't. Go ahead and add a thing to here as well. Add a roughness map. Okay, it's almost been an hour on the tutorial. I think that's fine. That's actually really nice. On the main, I'm gonna add a black as well. Black mask, and we're just gonna draw that outline. We do want this one to be a little bit thicker so it actually can differentiate between this mesh and his clothing. Go ahead and trace that around. I'm actually willing to do more clothing or full character tutorials because I'm basically making like 5 a day almost, bro, for the amount of tower defense games that are bugging me for this. But I usually do the hairs on a separate day on its own. I'll just do all the hairs in one shot. I'm completely depressed on the day I'm doing hairs. Probably the one thing you can listen to depressing music with when you're developing. Maybe that was a bit too thick. I'm not exactly sure. I'm gonna thin it to like maybe 1.5, something like that. Then do the bottom face or the bottom edge over here. The issue is if you make the lines too thick, then it looks more cartoony than anime. And if you make it too thin, then it's just not even visible. Bring get over here. I should probably have time-lapse the amount of black outlines I've done. But we like longer tutorials. Full character, 4 to 5 hours. Grind is real, chat. But this is the process for literally every single character. You don't do nothing different, bro. It's all the same. It's different characters, different looks. You just have to be smart with how you combo the texturing and the depth on the clothing. What you want textured, what you want modeled. You have to be careful with performance. Like for this rope, for example, like if this was not being flat shaded, then we would have definitely added a few bevels and then baked. But since we're doing flat shade, there is no need for any of that. Go back to the rope and we're gonna start drawing the lines for this. What the hell? I don't really know what happened there. Feel free to manually go ahead and draw this in. That's gonna be the annoying part. I'm probably gonna time lapse this part, guys. Just on every rope segment, you are going to have to go and manually draw the lines. And there's a lot of segments. I think we had like 9 to 12 or something. So yeah, I'll see you guys on the other side. Okay, I accidentally did a few other extra steps because I forgot to turn on my recorder. But a couple things I did was I fixed the colors. The color picker was selling a little bit, so I just went ahead and changed the base colors on these 3 textures. And then for the rope, if I can go back onto the rope, I drew the black lines, which is this one right here. This was the black lines. I duplicated it and added a blur with a levels just to add a little bit of shadowing. That's going to give us some more depth around the actual the rope ends or the knots. But then we have to go ahead and manually draw ourselves, and to duplicate that again, black mask, and we're just going to be drawing, or I'm going to color pick actually again, even though color picker kind of been selling for some reason. I don't know if the color correction on both my monitors are kind of messed up or something. But we're basically going to be going ahead and drawing the actual shadows on the mesh. This one's to be pretty simple because we could just do one. I'll duplicate it for us, but this is where we get that entire round shape like this. I'm also going to hide the main just so that I can focus on this for now. But we're going to give that nice round shape to the rope. If you guys are using pen to do this, it's much easier. I am using mouse for the sake of simplicity, so I don't have to keep hopping through different stuff. Look, that looks so much cleaner. You guys could go ahead and add a level of highlights on top as well. I might do that. I'm just gonna bring this side a little bit higher, exaggerate that curvature, erase tool so it looks more sharp, and we get that type of effect just like that, and that looks really nice. You can see the smoothness, and we also have this fake little kind of tight shadow that makes it look a lot more tight. I might actually go ahead and just give it a custom little bit of shadow going down like this. I want to see how that looks. Yeah, I think we could do that too. I'm just gonna give it like a very thin line around the entire shape right here. Yep, that looks really nice. And let's call this rope shadow. I don't know what this is. What is the shadow for? I don't really know what we're using this thing for. Okay, I guess. What the hell is this? I don't know. Was this for? Nope. Okay, let's just ignore that for now. We're gonna have to do the exact same thing over here. I might time lapse this part as well. We're just gonna be going ahead and manually drawing the shadows. Just be looking at the reference. You guys are hopped back to material mode to see exactly where you need to draw this stuff. But But if you guys were trying to figure out exactly where to draw these lines, I was just switching over to face selection, and you guys can kind of get the general idea of where your loops are going and try to accurately draw on them. That's how I managed to do that. But we need to go ahead and create the shadow, and that's automatically going to add a whole lot of depth to these ropes and make it look actually 3D. So yeah, I'm probably gonna be time-lapsing this. This gets really annoying when you're like stuck inside the mesh. You have to be like really close to it, otherwise you end up drawing on another mesh. Yeah, like I'm getting lost in here right now. An absolute maze. But yeah, good luck, guys. Alright, so now due to this, we're kind of already getting some natural highlights just because we're getting a second shade. What I kind of want to do, I'm going to duplicate that, make like a brighter version of this blue. And on the level, I'm going to go ahead and invert. and then bring this down. So now we would only have middle part kind of selected. I want to add a blur on top of this. I go to filter, blur, and crank that up. If this does anything, okay, yeah, there we go. Just want a little thin layer of highlight. Maybe put it on something like soft light. Or it's not really doing as much. A very thin second color. Might not even need it, honestly. Barely making us a difference. But for those of you who want it, you can keep that there. If you look at the entire thing now, that's looking pretty nice. You guys could again go ahead and add whatever the hell you want to this. Not exactly sure about this top piece. I was trying to think how it would look once we have to, because we do have to duplicate this and place it in front, place another one in front. Maybe just polish it up just a little bit. I also did find this to be quite an issue. We keep drawing accidentally over this, so it'd be nice to have it on a second mask so you can mask this out. Whatever you draw here doesn't really affect that one as a separate layer, but we've done it like this, it's fine. There is a little thing designed at the bottom over here. There's like some little cuts. We're gonna go ahead and just texture that on instead of having to whatchamacallit, instead of trying to model that on. So like some little cuts here, maybe another one over here, and like one more over here. And then for the inside of it, we're just gonna color it with shadow. Maybe the line was a bit too thick. You guys could apply opacity map. I'm too lazy to do all that right now. Since we did drop those banger tutorials of opacity and mission maps, make sure you guys watch those if you haven't already. But we do have quite a bit of detailing left on this thing. What I'm going to duplicate and give this the color for our shadow. Call it rope shadow. And bring down opacity just a little bit. Maybe it was a bit too much. We'll do the shadows first and then we'll do the line art. Maybe it's not really a good idea, but this is gonna be pretty straightforward though. We're just gonna go ahead and draw ourselves an outline right over here. There's something that goes all the way across the bottom, kind of like this. Actually, wait, make that maybe a little bit thicker. There we go. Don't make it too thin because then the detail really won't show. It's roughly drawing. This thing is an absolute lifesaver. A lazy brush or smooth mouse, whatever you want to call it. Smoothing. I think every application has its own name for it. What, something along these lines? I don't know why the hell. I don't know why I didn't pull up through with this, but I'm gonna do that, and wherever the mesh is visible, let's go ahead and pull that through. That's gonna be a lot easier in Blender because we can hide the actual mesh piece, but in Substance you can't do that. I really am hoping they add that update soon, where you can not only move pieces and meshes, but you can actually like hide them. That gets hidden by another strand of this going over it, so that's not a problem. Go ahead and complete the shadow. Something like this. And like that. So now here we're gonna have to use some realistic logic and draw shadows based off the placement of these ropes. But before we do that, we're just gonna do the main shadows of the actual piece itself. One being this piece over here. So like this. And we're gonna keep that as a shadow. I think we had one more on this side as well. And you guys are able to export this to Blender at any time to look or to see what it looks like, and then continue working here. Update textures in Blender. That's a workflow a lot of people use, especially when you're not painting a substance. A lot of people use just flat paint on the actual UV itself, like in Photoshop or Clip Studio and stuff like that. So that is also an option. I'm gonna go ahead and add a paint layer just so that we have the actual pieces, the robe, the drop shadow as a separate thing on its own, so we can edit whenever we want that. This over here, there is a, actually let me find another reference instead of following one reference. You guys are free to look at your own references, the ones I also have pinned in the tutorials channel with this video, wherever I posted it in my Discord server. But we want to make sure that it's realistic, but at the same time we can take inspiration from an anime picture. So looking at this, I'm just gonna, I really don't see why you would have a line going like this. I'm probably just gonna draw a line straight going to the back. You guys will be able to, if you guys want to add a little bit of detail, you can go ahead and like add little bumps so it looks like it's actually shadowing the shape of the beads on the strand or on the rope. For those of you who don't want to do a hardcore anime and want to do more of a stylized, you guys could go ahead and use blur tool on your shadows so blurs them out, and you could use smudge tool, this thing, to soften your shadows. Those of you that know what you're doing and do what you gotta do. I'm gonna bring this even higher. Actually, it's gonna come to all the way over here, something like that. Fill all these faces in, and then I'm just gonna curve a little bit like this. There we go. I have this clean, smooth transition. I guess it kind of does fold on itself, so we're gonna go ahead and drag this to kind of come up to a point like this. Oh, smooth curvature, bro. What the hell? Something like this. All right, there we go. Not exactly sure if I'm gonna have it drop down. All the references I do have are from one. All right, there we go. 1 second. I found a clean reference. Let's remove that. Or maybe that's kind of a low quality reference. Okay, most of them have that. I'm gonna put that back. How'd you go back? Okay, I guess we just draw that ourselves again. And kind of just paint on like a second layer. Maybe that goes too high. Kind of just like another second layer of shadow here. You might be able to actually leave some bit of it non-textured, so it looks like we have a little bit of a fold or a highlight spot. I kind of do it like this. I know why I do that. I'm gonna leave that spot empty. And for the back, honestly, we could raise just a little bit. I do the same thing for the bottom. I have to go ahead and draw shadows for the bottom of this. We can actually, once we draw the base over here, we can hide the top mesh. And oh wait, never mind. I thought we were coloring on the shirt. Never mind. So like again, if you're in Blender, you can just hide this mesh, work on the mesh under. But in Substance, you can only hide texture sets. So any model that shares the same texture, you'll be able to hide that. In our case, we would have had to make the ropes a separate texture on its own. Realistically, not something you'd want to do. This is fine, honestly. We could crank that up. Do something like this. Let's drag that inside. Actually, this entire inside face would have to be shadowed. But try to go ahead and get the insides however much you can. Actually, you know what we could do? go ahead and color on the UVs themselves. I completely forgot we had this. There we go. And we can actually fill in these parts too, but it doesn't really matter since you can't see under there. Okay, that's looking pretty neat. Let me not add a gradient to this. Let's go ahead and do that. Add a darker color, black mask, generator, 3D linear, flip that. The darker color goes at the bottom. Do it like that much, and then lower transparency. Okay, there's actually not much else I am seeing. Obviously, there are some strands of the actual piece on the model itself that are missing that do or would help with a lot of the detail, but I think in terms of actually never mind, we do need some line art on the shadows here. And we do need drop shadow to actually give this some depth. Where is this drop shadow here? Go ahead and apply this. I'm gonna add another paint just in case I want to come back and edit these. Where the paint at? Okay, we're just gonna draw a rough outline for where this would be setting. Somewhere like that. Inside face as well. Okay, and again, you guys could come in here and like fill in those faces inside of that shadow. This entire part would have to be shadowed too. This, oh wait, I messed up. Wait, what did I not? Is this shadowed? Oh, it is. I don't know what I was looking so bright for. Okay, just like that. I don't know, a little bit maybe. See, the overall shadows on this character are a lot darker for some reason. I don't know why. That looks fine. What else do we need to do? I don't really like how the shadows on this are looking. I think I forgot to make the round. Oh yeah, I completely forgot to even do this one or even this piece. Gonna do some editing on that in a minute. And the black lines, go ahead and add a paint. And I'm gonna go and draw shadows. Actually, wait, 1 second. Go back to material. We have black selected. I'm just gonna kind of draw over this edge or ledge we added here. I'm gonna leave some space. We're not gonna completely trace or make a straight line. We're gonna add some curvature and some nice little piece of detail to it. Or let's clean that up actually. If you guys want to, you could follow the exact line we've drawn here. Doesn't hurt. The general idea I was trying to get here was to skip some, or create little gaps in the black line. Let's add some more variation to the overall style. Go ahead and do it in here too, and then just overall add more to the cloth depth. It'll look like you have actual folds happening. And I'm actually gonna carry this one throughout the entire thing. Not the cleanest of lines. Alright. And I'll also draw a line about here. And then we go on to the shadow layer. That was that. Do this one. I want to just draw one fold. Small little piece comes from up there. Make it sharp. Okay, and then we do need to shadow this entire thing. Just try to keep on top of the black line Don't want anything under it, because then it's gonna ruin the shape of the fold. Again, it's all based off of realistic folds. You have shadow, you have highlights, and adjusting those, just those two layers, there's two colors plus the base color, a shadow color, a highlight color. You can make an entire 2D texture look completely 3D. You just gotta know how to do it for real. Drag that up there. I'm gonna smoothen this a bit. Just like that. Okay, you guys could draw black lines here. Go ahead and like highlight stuff. Well, this is looking pretty nice to me. I think the overall thing got too bright. The rope, that might be the main base color itself. I'm gonna maybe darken it. It's like that much. And the highlight layer on top. Okay, done the shadows. Where the drop shadow at? Right here. Or another rope shadow. Yep, I'm gonna take this and draw one for this little piece, or this, the end of it right here. It's gonna kind of go up like this. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Go ahead, do another one like that. Do one like this. I have to come in and manually fix those. Could add a little bit more depth just to this one in specific. And also any drop shadows on this. You guys don't need references. You could have baked ambient, add a dirt or ambient generator, and see where substance gives you shadows, and then use that as a reference to draw your own custom shadows. That's if you have no creativity and you need to be carried by Substance Painter. Once again, you can come into the UVs and fill in, but like, I think I'm fine. I think I am fine. I am going to go back to the main. Just gonna add a black line onto this shadow. Kind of like this. Erase the end to make it a little bit sharp. The rest is looking mighty fine, and I believe this is actually it. Oh wait, what the hell? Oh, do not remember doing this. Go ahead and erase if you have any mistakes. For some reason I have a bit too many. Smoothen that out, erase where needed. And we're gonna go ahead and export this to Blender. All you need is base color, so go to File, Export Textures, and only select the color map. Check off everything else. Once you guys are in here, make sure you crank up the roughness just so it doesn't look so mid. Go ahead and slide this. Whoops. I'm gonna turn on my R6 again so I can position this properly. Right over here. Bring this up. And we can hide the R6. Turn on the mirror. And to actually render your stuff, guys, please do not come over here and take a screenshot. That looks absolute garbage. Come into over here and you'll have this flat shade button. Turn off your cavity, and there you go. We do need to add in the R6 torso in here, so I'm gonna duplicate Actually, wait. Do I have a head? Okay, we do have a head. Going to just go ahead and duplicate and move that to the Sasuke we have here. Hide it. What the hell, bro? Legit just moved it. Why is it still? Where is it? Move that into Sasuke. Okay, hide this. Thank you very much. Select that. Select this head, and I'm going to press on this. Copy material to selected, and I'm gonna select these two UV editing. And let's put them on each other. Scale it down, and try to find where the skin is. Right there. On your UV texture, wherever that skin is, just line it up. I blindly did it, but you can go ahead and load up your texture in here to see exactly where to place those. Would be nice to have to manually go ahead and paint on shadows in there, but we're not doing that. Too much work. We're doing this and we're calling it a day. Now, part of this is exporting it to Roblox. I'm going to show you guys how to actually make it look somewhat decent in Roblox. I'm going to go ahead and actually... Oh, this is a thing mesh. There's one of those med meshes. Holy, why is that lagging? Okay, all I was trying to do is just move it down a little bit so we don't have so much clipping going on. Just a little bit. You guys can even like delete the bottom faces and stuff. But before exporting to Roblox, we do need to apply the yeah, it looks really nice. Apply the mirror, and we're just gonna separate the limbs. There's actually an option to P select by loose parts, which will not work so well for us. I'm just pressing L to select the entire piece on its own. P selection. Oh, I just forgot we have to put these ropes back to where they belong. I'm gonna delete these curves inside. Don't need those. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. This one still has them applied. Go ahead and apply this. Don't need that no more. One thing I do remember is that we had to actually connect these ones together. So I'm just going to go ahead and merge by distance. I'm pressing M and merge at center. And that should let us have this entire thing as one piece. No? Oh, I didn't do that before. Okay. All merge by distance. Do not forget to do that, like how I had forgotten. I just realized we actually do need the shadows to be shifted down, which kind of sucks. I'm just bringing this up. And Shift D, duplicate, and bring that down. And that shit really sucks. So we really need shadows to go lower all the way down here. You guys are free to hand paint that on. I completely destroyed the depth we had on here. I completely forgot about it. Oh well. I think this one we had to add behind here. Just duplicate, like shorten it a bit. Bring it in here. Rotate that out. Something like this. And then same thing for this mesh. Duplicate. And bring it maybe to the inside of it over here. Just like that. We do need to fix this sticking out. Select this, connected only. And then what we can do is just join all these meshes together. Join and join out with this, since they all share the same texture. And it should be one part, or to connect that as well. Join. What the hell, bro? Join. Thank you. This should be one. Apply the mirror. Join. What does this have? Apply the solidifier. Join these together. That's that. This I can actually be joined to this as well, since it has the same texture. And that's fine. Separated by limbs. And now if you guys are using the Roblox rig which I used, or the one I open sourced, or you've just exported your Roblox rig from Roblox to Blender and you haven't done anything to the scaling, I'm talking about this R6 rig, this one you guys made the clothing on, then to make the scaling on the clothing go perfectly and fit on your Roblox character, what the hell is this? I don't know. I don't really, actually I know what that is. Okay, to make that all work, you gotta select all when you file exporting to FBX, select mesh, selected objects only, wall, but make sure you bring the scale to 0.01. And what this will do, it automatically scale it down to a Roblox size for us, so we don't have to manually go and try to adjust it to the Roblox scaling and like ruin our entire textures by doing that. Export FBX. Right, using the mesh importer, that should bring in with all our textures. In here you can have the viewport of it, your entire model here, but once you press import, it will automatically scale it down to what we need this to be. Ignore all the random models I have in here. I usually like keeping all my stuff in one file. I don't like having too many files. My PC goes a little bit too crazy. But one issue I see in like a lot of, let me actually move this somewhere like where I don't have so much distractions. Let's bring it down here for now. But the issue with this now is the weird shading, right? We got some weird gloss. It looks like it's too much reflectance. And in majority of tower defense games, because of their lighting, it starts getting really glossy. If you put a point light next to it, it gets really shiny. Now, if you have a surface appearance applied to this for some reason, you have to add a white PNG into the roughness. But if you're not using that, if you're just using the texture ID, all you have to do is select all of it, double side, and put the base mesh to fabric, and that gets rid of the roughness. And you can see the change pretty big on quite a few models. I'm gonna just make the hair neon black, and there you go. There's your Sasuke model. And that's basically how you do a full entire character. So it really comes down to kind of balancing the 2D detail with the 3D detail. So again, we made the basic shape for the rope, added a slight bit of depth for the folds, the same thing, just a little few bumps here and there. A lot of people do like more depth on their character models, but when it comes to tower defense games, I think this is good enough to get the job done. And we can go ahead and really quickly just bait to that with some nice flat shaded lighting in Roblox Studio, which basically no game on Roblox really uses. But this is going to be it for this quick course. Again, it was relatively pretty quick comparing to an actual course which I had in mind. But let me know if you guys want more of this. I'm probably just gonna honestly time lapse my future characters. There's no need for me to go and walk you guys through all of this again. The process is all the same, and I think I really chose this one because of the complicated rope shape. But things really don't get any more complicated than that. Sometimes you have capes and all that. I might make a separate one on capes later on in the future. But we had a full entire hair session as well. That was pretty painful, but again, the hair turned out pretty dope. Not exactly the best, but it still represents the character. But hopefully you guys did find this helpful. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit that like button, share this video with all the other great modelers out there, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Peace out.